Hello everybody, my name is Merc, and today I am checking out Hearthstone, which is a little weird for me to do because I feel like everyone probably knows what Hearthstone is already, and if you don't, it is a newly developed game by Blizzard, the people who made StarCraft, Warcraft, and Diablo, and it's essentially a card game based around Warcraft lore. And basically, I've been having a lot of fun with this game. It's still in closed beta, and the only way to get beta access besides giveaways is to go into their opt-in process on battle.net and sign yourself up. This game is still, like I said, in beta, so there are some issues, and when I was watching people play this, I was like, why don't they just open this in, open beta, because it seems perfect, but now that I've gotten my hands on it, I've seen there are quite a number of issues with this game still, so I can understand why they're holding it back a little bit. For the first day or so, I had a lot of issues just even running the game in the first place, but that has all been since pretty much cleared up, so yeah, so in this game there are 3 different modes of play. There's play, practice, and the arena. And play is playing against other player opponents, and practicing is placing yourself versus bots, and just practicing your playing versus them. And arena mode is a draft mode, and as I mentioned, this is a card game, so you would be drafting. They give you a choice of 3 cards every time, so you choose from one of the 3 cards, and you do that 30 times to get a 30-card deck, and then you play other opponents who have drafted their deck just like yours. And yeah, this game is going to be free to play at launch whenever it launches, and for now there is a store, which I'll open up real quick here. And you can see you can buy 1 pack for 100 gold, but you can also double click that and say you want 10 packs for how many gold. It'll be 1,000 gold, and there you go. You can also buy 2 packs for $2.99, 7 for $9.99, 15 for $19.99, and 40 for $49.99. Now, I haven't purchased any of these booster packs so far, and actually you can see my gold here in the bottom right is 920. And I've basically just been saving up my gold since I've got access to this game. And basically you can see how much I've played so far. I have 30 total play wins in the normal mode, and these are all unranked, so I haven't been playing in the ranked mode, and I have 0 arena wins. Like, I haven't even played arena yet. And as you can see, these are the levels of my classes. Obviously you start off at level 1, and once you get to level 10 with each class, then you unlock all the basic cards for each class. And I felt like that was something that I should have done, so I did that, and I unlocked all of them. And it wasn't much of a grind. It was enjoyable because I enjoy playing the game. In addition to that, there's also a number of cards that you can't access with just playing normally. You're going to have to spend some of your gold or some of your money attaining those. So these are all the cards I have. You can see there's quite a bit for each class, and there's also a host of neutral cards that you can see here. There's a whole lot of them that you can add into your decks. And as you can see, I have a bunch of decks here. My Druid, my Mage, my Best Master, Shaman, Warrior, Lock, and Heals. And as you can see, there's also a bunch of, how do I show that? There's the cards that you can't, oh yeah, you go to crafting mode. So these are all the cards that I don't have. I am missing a number of cards, and that's because, you can't just have all of the cards. Even class-specific cards, there are cards that you're missing, and even though I have 1 Ice Lance that I got from a booster pack, this is actually a golden card, so it's like considered like a holographic, like you would in real life. But you can't actually trade these cards. You can only disenchant them and re-enchant them into other cards, which is essentially the crafting mode if you want a specific card from each deck. And yeah, I feel like I've explained enough of how the game works and how the currency works in this game and whatnot. Might as well show off some gameplay, so let's go and do that, I suppose. So first we're going to do some practice runs just to get an idea, and I'm going to play using my Mage deck. Why not? Mage is pretty standard, and then I'll play versus a Hunter. Okay, let's do this. So obviously I'm just playing versus a bot here, and this is because I'm going to take my time to explain all of what is going on the screen right now. So you play as these heroes from the Warcraft lore, Jaina Proudmoore and Rexxar the Beastmaster, and you start off with these cards. Now, you don't have to choose these cards. Like, these are obviously for my deck, and if I wanted to, I can get rid of any of these cards that I see fit. And I don't know, I feel like even though there's no minions, I have no minions in this hand. This is all spell cards. I'm gonna go with it. We're gonna see how this goes. The Hunter is focused on summoning beasts, and as well as some traps as well that he may have. So hopefully we'll see some of that. So start off by summoning a Timberwolf, as you can see, and it has a special ability. As soon as my turn goes away, that turn signal, it says your other beasts have +1 attack. So any other beast that he summons, as you can see underneath that, It has a beast symbol, so any other cards that have that beast little thing there, then those will get buffed by this. Now, I'm going to explain some of what this card looks like. You can see in the top left there, that 1 and the blue crystal, that explains that it costs 1 to play this guy. In the bottom left, you can see the attack, which is 1, and the health, which is 1. So, I only have 1 crystal. You only start off with 1 crystal at the start of the game, and then you get a crystal each turn. So, right now, the only thing I can play is my 1 card here, if I wanted to. Or if I want to, since I start as the second player, the person who plays second gets the coin card all the time, every time you play. But you only get 1 of these cards ever. So essentially what it does is you can gain 1 mana crystal this turn only. So I could, if I wanted to, play any of my 2 costing cards, as well as my hero power. Every hero in the game gets their own hero power. So the mage can deal 1 damage to anyone on the board. If I wanted to, I can get rid of this Timberwolf right now by playing the coin, then playing my hero power and destroying it. The hunter deals 2 damage to an enemy hero, so he can only specifically shoot me with it, and I have 30 health, and once you run out of 30 health, you lose the match, or when you run out of cards. And when you run out of cards, you don't automatically lose, you actually lose 1 health per turn, and then on the second turn you'll lose 2 health, and on the third turn I think you lose 4 health. It just keeps doubling like that, so eventually you're going to find yourself very screwed without cards. So, for now, since I have Mirror Image, I'm going to summon 2 0/2 minions with Taunt. So these guys have 2 health, each of them, but they have 0 attack. So he's going to attack with his Timberwolf, I'm assuming, and he's not going to be able to get through, but he's not going to get hurt because he has 0 attack. You deal damage as you get hurt, so if this guy had a 1 attack, he would have killed himself by running himself into it. And the health that you can see here is permanent. It's not like some other games where you gain your health back at the end of the turn. The health you have here is permanent until you heal it, which some classes can do, like the Priest's hero power is to heal 2 to anything on the board once per turn. You can only use your hero powers once per turn. Okay, so now I can focus on maybe what I intend to do here. So since he still has this Timberwolf alive, and my hero powers deal 1 damage, I'm just going to blow it up. So I do that, and then I can end my turn. There's really nothing else I could do. If I wanted to, I could play the coin and use the Shatter Sun Cleric here to Battle Cry, give a friendly minion +1. So Battle Cries are, whenever you play that minion, it'll go into the field as a 3/3, and then I can give any minion I want +1/+1. So it'll have 1 attack, 2 health. If I did on this guy, or 1 attack, 3 health if I did on this one. So we're going to end the turn. Of course, the reason why I'm playing versus bots right now is to explain all of this to you. So he has a weapon here. Hunters, warriors, and rogues, and paladins, and shaman actually, all can have weapon cards. And what they do is you play them, and then you can immediately attack with them. And this hunter weapon in specific, the Eagle Horn Bow, whenever a secret is revealed, to gain 1 durability. Now, secrets are like trap cards from Yu-Gi-Oh! Essentially. You play them on your turn, and then they get triggered depending on what your opponent does. So they can only be triggered one way, and if your opponent chooses to trigger it, or say there's a secret where if you get damaged by your hero, like if your hero gets damaged, and I damage the hero, then that's when the secret will go off. That's a weird way of explaining it, but that's what I'm going to go with. So, he destroyed my my mirror's image here, and I feel like if I play the Shattered Sun Cleric, this mirror image is gonna die as well because he has the Eagle Horn Bow already for 1 more turn. The durability, as you can see, is in the bottom right there, so he can only use it 2, and then it gets destroyed. And if he has another Eagle Horn Bow card, then he can play it. Mind you, there's only a limit of 2 cards in each deck out of the 30 cards you can have, so you can only have 2 Eagle Horn Bows unless you're in the arena mode, which is a random draft, so you can have as many Eagle Horn Bows as you can potentially find when you're drafting your cards. Okay, so what should I do? Arcane Explosion is not going to do anything because it only deals damage to minions, and he doesn't have any minions. Frostbolt deals 3 damage to a character and freezes it, and if I wanted to, I can freeze the hunter, and he wouldn't be able to attack with his weapon. But I feel like that's probably not a huge deal, and if he wants to waste his weapon attacking this mirror image, that's probably beneficial for me, because that means he's not going to be able to use the weapon on anything else. He's going to be wasting 3 attack on something with only 1 health, potentially anyway. He could have another card in his hand here, as you can see. That would change that. And also another cool feature about this game is when you put your mouse over each card, it enlarges the card so you can see it better, but your opponent can see exactly what you're looking at as well. So if I'd have my card here, like if I'm looking at this card, my opponent would be able to see this card rise up face down. Of course, he wouldn't be able to see what's in my hand, but he would see what card I'm interested in. And even when you put your mouse over cards on the battlefield, your opponent can see that. It gets like a red glow around each of the cards that they are mousing over. Okay, so finally I probably should play something. So Polymorph's not going to work because that's transform a minion into 1/1 sheep. That's really good for neutralizing like higher damage, more powerful creatures near the end of the game, rather than at the start when everything's weaker. The coin Fireball does 6 damage. Now I could, if I wanted to, coin and deal 6 damage straight to him, but I feel like that's a waste because this is 6 damage to anything. I could save this until the end and just nuke him till he's dead, but or I could save it and destroy a really powerful minion that he may summon later. And again, the Shattered Sun Cleric is probably not a good idea simply because this taunt is going to die no matter what, even if I put the buff on. The only thing that's going to happen is when he damages me with that weapon, it's going to do 1 damage to him as he attacks me, but otherwise it's not going to be all that useful. Because hero damage is actually one of the least important things in the game, even though that's the only way you can win or lose is if you take him out. But everything else that's more important is how many cards you have in your hand and how many creatures you have on the board. Even if you have like 5 health but you have a board full of creatures and a taunt, then there's essentially no way that the other player could win except if they're maybe a hunter and they can survive long enough to deal 2 damage to you each turn directly using their steady shot ability. So finally I think I'm going to play the coin, and then I'm going to play the Ogre Magi, which gives me spell damage +1. So that means now that this guy's on the field, all of my spells here that you can see that deal damage get +1. So Arcane Explosion was initially just 1, now it's 2 damage to all minions. This is 4 damage, and my Fireball is 7 damage. And I can't do anything else because this guy can't attack, because he has no ability or no attack power. So I just end my turn, and the hunter will go. So he's going to play his Iron Fur Grizzly, which is a taunt. Now I haven't really explained this, but a taunt creature essentially means that you can't attack the hero or anything else until you destroy this taunt first, or any other taunts first. If there's any taunts, then you have to destroy them first, is essentially what I'm getting at here. And thankfully I do have a way of neutralizing it if I really wanted to. And I think I am going to do so. I think I'm going to Frostbolt it, which is going to do 4 damage, and freeze it, which freeze means that they can't attack the next turn. So the freeze is going to be useless, and also one of the damage ticks because it deals 4 damage instead of the 3 that I really need here. But I'm not going to complain because I did play the Ogre Magi, that's why it has 4. So yeah, I'm going to use the Frostbolt, and then I'm just going to peg him with my Fire Blast. Now something else I want to point out that hasn't really been pointed out. In this background here on the ground, you can click a bunch of things. So you can click on the ground to do these little sand sound effects. You can also click the light to turn it off, or you can, if you want to, vandalize this church here and destroy the windows. You can ring the bell by clicking up there. You can destroy the sign. You can close the door. You can play with this clock. Actually, I don't think the clock does anything besides make a noise. You can destroy this roof little piece right here. You can destroy this well, or the bucket in the well, and then the well itself right there, as well as destroying these barrels, playing with the hay, and playing with the griffin here. He doesn't appreciate being poked, but I'm going to do it anyway. Poke, I say. Okay, never mind. You can only poke him only so much. So yeah, that's a cool little feature because basically when you're playing online versus other players, they might be taking their sweet time like I am right now, even though all I have to do is attack with this guy. So when they're taking their time, it gives you something to do to play around. You can click the ground and just, have fun with it. So yeah, I'm going to end the turn because I did everything that I could have. I have 0 crystals or mana crystals here left over for the turn. So what this guy does, the Starving Buzzard, is whenever you summon a beast, draw a card. So he summoned a panther immediately afterwards so he could draw a card. Now that's a very good feature to have. Like I said, one of the most important things in this game is how many cards you have in your hand. And if you have less than your opponent, then you're in a pretty bad position. And in this case, my opponent has less than me, but he has a bit more board control in the fact that he has 2 creatures, and one of his creatures neutralizes mine next turn. This creature is a stealth creature, so that means I can't attack it until it reveals itself. So eventually he will attack with that, and then it can be destroyed. But until then, I have to just wait, or until I can do something that affects the whole board, actually. So like deal 2 damage to all enemy minions. If I wanted to, I can do this right now. And actually, I think I might even want to do that. It seems like that is a good situation. So I'm going to Arcane Explosion, and it deals 2 damage to everything because of my Ogre Magi is giving it spell damage +1. And then I'm going to Shattered Sun Cleric, and then give my Ogre Magi +1/+1, so now it's a 5/5, and attack with it. Now, unlike Magic and some other games that you may play, there's certain phases to the turn. In Hearthstone, there are no phases. You can do anything in any order you want. So you can attack with your creatures last, you can attack with them first, you can do any order, whichever is most beneficial to you. And another thing I want to point out is you can actually the only way you can talk to your opponent is by using these little emotes, by right-clicking on your hero, and you can just like threaten them if you wanted to, or sorry, oops, well played, and thanks. And even if they're, it's to prevent people from getting salty in chat, as people often do. And even if someone like spams well played or whatever, you can even right click on their account or their creature or their hero rather, and squelch them. But you can't do it versus bot, because this bot's not going to say anything. So yeah, I feel like I've explained mostly everything here. Okay, so this Stampeding Kodo, he actually didn't get the full use out of it. I guess he kind of got a use out of it, because the Stampeding Kodo, when you first summon it, has a battle cry where it destroys a random minion with 2 or less attacks. So when it first enters the battlefield, if I had any minions with 2 or less, there would be randomly chance that one of them would get destroyed. One of them is guaranteed to get destroyed, but if I had like 4 or 5 of them, then you don't know which one it would be. It would just be random, as it says. And as you can see here, there's actually a battle log to the side of explaining exactly what we do. So right after that, he played Unleash the Hounds, which gives your beasts +1 attack and charge. Now, charge means that you can attack right away after being summoned, whereas normally you can't do that. You can summon a creature and then you have to wait till next turn to attack with it. Okay, so what am I dealing with? I could Arcane Explosion again if I really felt it was necessary, but I almost don't. This is actually a tricky situation, because the only way I can get rid of this Kodo for sure is by doing an Arcane Explosion or by taking out with my Ogre Magi. And unfortunately, that doesn't seem like a good trade, because he's going to do 4 damage to my Ogre Magi, which means he's going to be a 5/1. Actually, that could potentially be a good trade, because I'm actually not even trading this guy. This guy would still live for another turn. So, I'm basically trying to figure out what I'm going to do with these cards in my hand, essentially. I think I'm going to play the Water Elemental. Yeah, I'm going to play the Water Elemental and do direct damage to the Hunter, and then I'm going to use my hero power to do more direct damage to the Hunter. Now, I'm assuming next turn this Stampeding Kodo is going to attack one of these guys. No matter which one he attacks, he's going to die afterwards, because he only has 2 health. So that's why I didn't attack the Kodo with my hero power, even though I could have. So he just played an Oasis Snapjaw. This is a standard card. It's a 2/7 beast, but it can be buffed, obviously, with all these beast powers that Hunters have. Okay, and this is a Windfury card. It's another example that I can show off. Windfuries can attack twice each turn, so they can attack once and they can attack again. However, if this Windfury attacked, say, my Ogre Magi, he would die, so he wouldn't be able to get the second attack off. So what he could do instead is attack me directly first, and then with the second attack whoever he wants and kill himself, if that is what he intends to do. So I can Fireball this Oasis Snapjaw if I feel like I should. Or I could even Arcane Explosion and get rid of like everything on the board except for the Oasis Snapjaw, which seems like it's probably going to be the best choice, and then I can even summon something afterwards. So yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to Arcane Explosion, which is going to destroy everything but the Oasis Snapjaw, and then I'm going to play the Gurubashi Berserker. Now this character has an Enrage ability, except it's not actually called Enrage, because Enrage implies that when you're damaged, you get an ability or more attack power. This character is not Enraged, but instead, whenever this minion takes damage, gain +3 attack. So if I really wanted to, I could even deal 1 damage to this guy right here, and then he'll be a 5/6 because he gets 3 attack and he'll lose 1 health from getting damaged. And he gets that ability every single time he takes damage, and then I can even heal him up afterwards, because this is not an Enrage ability that I'll maybe show in a bit of how that works. So I think I'm gonna attack with my Ogre Magi, take out the turtle. Now my Magi has a 5/3, and that's still pretty good. And then attack with my Water Elemental here, who I didn't even mention. He has the ability called he freezes any character damaged by this minion. So even if he has another Eagle Horn Bow weapon that he wanted to use, he couldn't use it next turn because he'd be frozen, as you can see right now. So he's playing another Grizzly, which still can't attack immediately, so he has to just wait. And does he can play anything else? Oh, he's going to play a Scavenging Hyena as well. So this is whenever a friendly beast dies, gain +2/+1. So when I kill this Iron Fur Grizzly, this guy's going to get buffed out of it, unless I can kill him first or something like that, if I found a way to do so. And unfortunately, I don't really have any other cards like Arcane Explosion that allow me to destroy them both at the same time. So it looks like he is going to get buffed no matter what. Or I could sheep him if I really, really wanted to. And in fact, I might want to sheep him right now. I'm going to attack. Do I want to sheep him? I'm going to sheep him. So this he's just going to be a sheep now. He's only going to be a 1/1 with no other abilities, and you can't get rid of this. The only way you can get rid of this, I guess, is by killing it, by sending it into battle, pretty much. And I'm going to attack with my water elemental, kill him, and he gets frozen, but he's dead anyway, so it doesn't even matter. And then I'm going to play my mirror images again. So he has to attack these guys with his sheep or anything else he summons, except for his hero power, which obviously goes straight to me. Any spells go through taunt, but any creatures have to attack the taunt creature first. So now I could, if I wanted to, ping the sheep and damage him or get rid of it off the board, but because I have these mirror images, I'm honestly just going to ping my Gurubashi Berserker. So like I said, now he's a 5/6 and he can attack like that. Now if I really wanted to, I could even attack the sheep with my Gurubashi Berserker, and he would get 8 or 3 more attacks, so he'd have 8 and then he'd have 5 health, so he'd be an 8 and 5 creature, which is pretty crazy. But it's not entirely undealable. Like you can deal with it most of the time. It's like a mage has, you know, so many direct damage spells. Actually, I probably could have won last turn if I really considered fireballing the opponent, but I didn't. So yeah, I didn't win last turn. But that is something you have to consider. You always have to wonder if you have lethal damage every turn that you play. So this is a Kobold Geomancer. He's another spell damage +1. Oh, so he actually had a secret there I forgot to mention. So whenever an opponent plays a minion, deal 4 damage to it. So that just sniped my Kobold who entered the battlefield. So that's unfortunate, but really it's not a big deal because I can just fireball and win. I could even just win with the Gurubashi if I really wanted to. Let's do that. And you can see now he's an 11/3. That's pretty absurd because he did the explosive shot last turn to damage the Gurubashi, which increased its attack power even more, which does deal 5 damage to a minion and then 2 to the adjacent ones. I didn't even explain that. But essentially he attacked the center one, and then each one beside it got hurt with 2 damage, and the center one got hit by 5. But yeah, that's it. This guy's dead. He has 11, or I have 11 attack. He has 1 health. There was really not much of a chance there. So I think I'm going to do one more match, except I'm not going to play the mage this time. I'm going to play someone who has some different abilities. The warrior focuses on weapons, and his ability is to armor himself up. The priest focuses on board control and mind control. He has some abilities that allow you to mind control other enemies, but he's a little slow to play, and his ability heals. The shaman has totems and an overload ability. The warlock summons things that often have bad qualities to them, but they're super powerful. I really like my shaman deck, so I'm gonna play my shaman deck next, and then we're gonna go versus a warlock, which might be a very bad idea because warlocks are usually about rushing your opponent as fast as possible, and shaman tend to have things towards the mid game, and it's about having board control as much as possible. So once again, we get to choose what cards we have here, which cards we want to keep or replace, and since these 2 cost so much, I'm just going to replace them no matter what. These other 2 are not that bad, and since I'm playing second, I start off with the coin, so if I really wanted to, I could play a coin or turn 2 Mana-Tide Totem, or turn 2 Tauren, or even Razorfen Hunter. So let's go over my cards in my hand real quick. Murloc Tide Hunter has a battle cry where he summons another Murloc, but it's only a 1/1. I got a Mana-Tide Totem at the end of my turn, draw a card for every turn that this lives. Tauren Warrior is Taunt and Enrage. As I mentioned previously with the Gurubashi, Enrage is like what you just saw with the Gurubashi, where he gets +3 attack, except if I heal this guy back up, then he will not be enraged anymore. Then there's Razorfen, which is a battle cry summon a 1/1 boar. Got the coin, and then Ascension Shieldmaster, who is a 3/5 taunt, which is a very powerful card. And he played a Blood Imp the first turn. This is one of the most annoying enemies in the game, except the bots, the AI that I'm playing versus, is probably going to attack with it right away, which means that it's going to be useless. Because this is the reason why this is one of the most annoying enemies in the game is because he can sit there stealth all game, and every other minion that he summons has +1 health. And if he has 2 Blood Imps, then that's +2 health for every other minion, which is pretty absurd. Like I'll have a 3/7 Ascension Shieldmaster, which is pretty crazy. So I can't do anything on the first turn, really. I mean, I guess I could. I could coin into Murloc, but because he has this 1/1 on the board that I know he'll attack with, because that's how dumb these bots are, even though if I had this card in, like, if I was playing this card versus another player, I would definitely never attack with it and just try to keep it on the board as long as possible. But because he has this 1/1, no matter what, this Murloc's going to die, and if he wanted to, he can kill the other Murloc as well. You could choose which one to kill, and since this one's only a 2 with 1 health, he would get the better trade out of it, because this is only a 1 costing creature and this is a 2 cost, and I'm using the coin to summon it. So I'm just gonna end my turn, and I'm gonna play with some of this stuff over here. So with this catapult, you can put a rock in and you can fire it. Okay, and we missed this succubus got summoned, and her battle cry is discard a random card. So since she is such a good card, a 4/3 and then +1 for this blood imp here, +1 health, since she's such a good card on turn 2, she actually has a negative battle cry. So when you summon her, he actually got rid of a card in his hand. Doesn't even show what card he got rid of. I think it was a Mortal Coil is what I saw, which is a removal ability that does 1 damage. So because this guy's going for an early rush, it makes my decisions a little more worrisome here. Because I could coin into Tauren Warrior, which would take both of them to kill him, but I think the succubus would live if he did it in a proper order. If he attacked them in a proper order, rather. I think I'm going to coin Tauren Warrior. And this is actually one of the few cards that I have that you can't get with the commons that you start off with, essentially. And this is not a class card either. So this is a card that you get from a booster pack, essentially. It's a common card, but if it doesn't, like, you can see the gem there underneath his name. It's a little white gem. Every other card does not have one of those. Like this guy is a little common card. She is not. She comes with any Warlock deck that you have leveled up, I think. Manatide Totem is a rare card that I got from a booster pack, and I'm actually really happy. I like this card a lot. But yeah, I'm gonna end my turn now. I'm gonna play with the Bramble up here instead. Okay, so he's gonna Demon Fire, which deals 2 damage to an enemy minion, or if it's a demon, it gets +2/+2. And then he's gonna Power Overwhelming that, which is just freaking silly, because Power Overwhelming gets it +4/+4 until the end of the turn, and then it dies. So he just killed his Blood Imp for no reason, essentially, but now he has a 6/5 succubus that I have to deal with, which is not going to be easy for me to deal with at all. So I think I'm going to play my Reserfan, which is going to summon another boar here, and then I'm going to end my turn. This deck is all about having a lot of minions on the board, and you're going to see why in a bit, hopefully if this goes well. And also, this is another very powerful card that costs 1, and its battle cry is to deal 2 damage to your hero. And the Warlock special ability, which I haven't even mentioned, is Life Tap. So he draws a card, but he takes 2 damage doing so. So he's at 26 health, even though I've done no damage to him because of this Flame Imp and because of his Life Tap last turn. And my hero power is to summon a random totem out of 4 different totems that I can summon. There's a Taunt Totem, there's a 1/1 damage totem, there's a Spell Power Totem, and then there is also... what is the last one? Taunt? Oh yeah, there's a Healing Totem that heals minions once per turn at the end of a turn. Okay, so this sucks. I'm still in a very shitty position. I do have a Fire Elemental, but I obviously can't play that until 2 more turns. So I think I'm just going to play my Ascension Shieldmaster, and then I'm going to run my boar at the Warlock and damage him a bit more. And if you damage the Warlock enough, eventually you're going to find that he's not going to be able to Life Tap, which is a huge benefit, because everyone else can use an ability once per turn if they really wanted to. But the Warlock, if he gets low enough health, then he won't be able to use his ability. Okay, so I have a Hex, which can transform a minion to 0/1 frog with Taunt. So it's kind of like Polymorph, except it's a 0/1, but the frog has Taunt, so you have to attack it after you do that. So I kind of want to play the Manatide Totem, but it only has 3 health, so this Flame Imp will destroy it no matter what next turn, unless I Hex it, but that seems like a waste to me. I'm going to use my Totem Power, which is scary because this is randomized, so it might not be the totem I want, and it's not. I kind of preferred to get a Taunt Totem, but I got the Healing Totem instead. And then I'm going to play my Murlocs and end my turn. And then it's going to heal at the end of the turn, but since no one was hurt, it really didn't do anything. So these guys are assholes. They're Acolyte of Pains. Whenever this minion takes damage, draw a card. So he's going to attack, and he's going to draw a card out of it. He's going to do the same, I'm assuming. Oh no, he has the Blood Imp. Oh, he's got a Mortal Coil, so he deals 1 damage to a minion. If it kills it, then he draws another card. I mean, he did. And now he has 2 Voidwalkers on the table, which is horrible, because they're 1/3s with taunts, and they're going to be hard to get rid of. Ah, this sucks. This is actually a very shitty position. I don't want to hex anything because they're all very, very weak creatures here, and they're hardly worth the hex. If I wanted to, I could. Is this gonna live if I summon it? Actually, it will. If I, oh God, if I destroy that, it'll live. But if I don't, then it's obviously gonna die by the 3 attack power there. I'm gonna summon this. It's gonna deal 3 damage to this Blood Imp, or Flame Imp rather, which is unfortunate because I'm wasting 2. But I'm gonna have to end my turn after that. I'm not feeling good about this. Oh, and he summoned a Core Hound. 9/5 with no abilities, but it's pretty easy to kill because it only has 5 health. But still, I'm not in a good position right now. So he's getting a bunch more cards from those acolytes. And he's just running all of his creatures into it. Okay, alright, well, I'll destroy your Core Hound next turn. That was really dumb from this bot to do, this AI. He could have kept the Voidwalkers alive, just attacked me, and then I wouldn't have been able to destroy this Core Hound next turn. But because he did that, I can easily destroy this Core Hound. Or I could even just hex it if I really feel like it. And I might. I could hex it. I'm going to hex it, which means that I'm going to have to waste a turn attacking it with my Fire Elemental instead of doing 6 damage directly to the Warlock, which is unfortunate. And then I'm going to play my Ascension Shield Master and then end my turn. And I will shoot another catapult at this guy. Okay, so he did Demon Fire and destroyed my Fire Elemental. That's fine. I've made him waste a card, essentially, that he could have used to buff one of his demons if he wanted to. Okay, I think it's time for me to play down the Mana Tide Totem because he's not going to be able to get to it next turn. And then I can even play the Razorfen, which will summon another boar, of course, and my Totem. I could do the Murloc, but I'm going to save that for later, just in case he has some sort of board clear like a Hellfire, which does 3 damage to everything. So I'm going to attack him directly again with Ascension. And then at the end of my turn, I'm going to get a card from this. So I got a Frost Shock, which deals 1 damage to an enemy character and freezes it. Okay, and he's got another Stranglethorn Tiger, which is a stealth creature, as mentioned previously. He's going to sense demons, so he puts 2 random demons from his deck into his hand. And he's got a Blood Imp. That's not good. That is not good. Okay, so how am I doing with this? I can play the Stormwind Champion, which gives all my other minions +1/+1, which means this will be a 3/4, and this will be a 2/2, and this will be a 1/4, and this will be a 1/3. Apologies for that. Obviously, I had to sneeze. This is tricky. I can get rid of the Stranglethorn Tiger with the Razorfen after I buff it, and I think I'm going to do that. So that will get destroyed, and then I can attack everything. I can attack with everything else directly at the Warlock, and he's going to find that he's in a kind of a shitty position because he won't be able to life tap as freely since he only has 16 health. And I guess I could have played a Totem, but I didn't because I'm a dummy. And that is a mistake you don't want to make. And he Shadow Bolted my Mana Tide Totems. That's really unfortunate. And then he played a Doomguard, which has a charge ability, so he can attack right away, and then battle card, discard 2 random cards. So he got rid of everything in his hand to play this card, essentially. Okay. I wish I played the Totem last turn, because I feel like if I would have got the Spell Power Totem, I could have Frost Shocked and killed him. But I didn't. I didn't play that last turn. That's unfortunate. I'm gonna Totem and pray for Wrath of Air Totem, which is the spell damage, and I got the Healing Totem, so that's unfortunate. Then I'm going to play the Novice Engineer, which will give me a Flame Tongue Totem, which gives adjacent minions +2 attack. This is tricky. This is a tricky situation. I can play the Fire Elemental, destroy the Doomguard, and then it'll get killed by the next turn because it only has 5 health and this has 5 attack. And I can't freeze it because that costs exactly as much as I need for the Fire Elemental to be played. I could play the Flame Tongue, which would bring this to a 3, which isn't going to do a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. And I could just freeze this guy for next turn and then maybe kill him with the boar after that. If I do that, I'll have 5 mana left, and then I can play the Flame Tongue and the Murloc with 1 mana left over. I think I'm going to do that. I'm not too happy with all this, but I'm going to do that way. So that guy's going to be frozen, so next turn he's not going to be able to do anything. I could just run the boar into him if I really wanted to. But I think instead I'm going to play the Flame Tongue. And then I'm going to attack him with the 3. And then I'm going to play the Murloc. Should I put I'm going to put the Murloc right here. Because obviously this only affects the 2 things that are next to it, which is important to consider when you're placing your enemies on the board, or your minions on the board, rather. So I have no taunt, so this Stranglethorn Tiger can attack anything it wants to on the board, as well as me if it really wanted to. But no, instead you attack the guy with the 4 attack, which is going to be silly. And I just won. This card, Bloodlust, gives all of my minions +3 attack. This is why I want so many creatures on the board, because then I can play this and win the game, which is what I'm going to do right now. So everything is a lot stronger, and I can kill him if I really wanted to with a Murloc and this frickin' boar that he left alive. And there we go. So this turned out to be quite a long video, but I kind of wanted to explain a bunch of things about the game, and if you weren't aware of how the game works, because I intend to do an arena series later on, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to explain everything as we go on there, but I'll certainly try. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this game, and I feel like everyone will. Well, not everyone. If you're into competitive card games, then you will certainly enjoy this game as well, as long as you put a little time into it, because unfortunately, you do have to unlock some things in order to get the most out of your classes, and even then, you're not going to have all the cards that you want, because you're going to need to buy packs with gold, or go to the arena, where you can win gold back. I haven't even mentioned this, but the arena costs either $2 to play, or gold. I didn't mean to click on it, or gold, but because I just started this, my first arena run is free for everyone who plays it. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that, and I will see you next time.